Guys, are we going to get every kind of GTA before GTA 6 actually drops? I guess that is the trend now because every big company out there is somehow trying to make a city like game taking inspiration from GTA, obviously. And first it was Neverness to Everness, then we had Ananta, and now finally Hoyoverse is also going ahead and making a GTA like game. I feel like this is a new trend. Like every company wants to get a bite of this GTA pie, and honestly, that's kind of fun because GTA 6 may never really come out. I have finally lost hope on that game. I think that game is completely a myth. It's never gonna be real. So the more GTA like games I get, I'm happy, bro. I will play all of them. So today we have a 31-minute reveal video showing the gameplay of Hoyoverse's new game that they have been cooking in the background called Varsapura. Now, in our language, that means the city of rain. So, I don't know, kind of a cool name to have for a game. And Hoyoverse said, you know what, we're not going to be making any teasers, we're not going to be making trailers, we're not going to be putting in any concept art and all that shit, and we're not going to let leakers ruin the fun. We're just going to be putting forward 31 minutes of raw gameplay. And honestly, it just looks insanely good. I mean, I just sat down and watched the whole 31-minute trailer, and this is like a really well polished, a really high quality game. Now, did Ananta scare Hoyoverse and they decided to make something like this because they were tempted by seeing the hype Ananta got? I don't know. We don't know. We will not know what sort of decisions Hoyoverse management is making in the background, but Ananta definitely seems to have inspired a lot of this game. So first, we gotta talk about the graphics, man. I mean, just take a look at this gameplay. It looks absolutely insane. It's super clean. It's got that, realistic look blended with the anime look. The character models, they look really nice, right? They're going in with the full 3D character models, so it's gonna be like your whole 3D character models, 3D environment. Ananta has this more of a anime look, this goofy character designs, very vibrant colors, very colorful world, right? It also has a lot of details, like the world is very detailed. It has a lot of realism to it as well, but they have definitely stuck to their anime theme, where the vehicles, the characters, they all look very much like they are part of an anime. This game though, Varsapura, on the other hand, looks like it has completely adopted the realistic style. So I'm pretty excited to see, because you know what, we have been seeing way too many anime games lately. I think Genshin just started this whole anime games are popular trend, and after that every single game wants to be an anime game, right? So seeing something like this which is like semi-realistic definitely is kind of fresh. Also, the setting seems to be a lot more dark, a lot more twisted, with mysteries, ghosts and stuff like that. This kind of reminds me of, this reminds me something like Silent Hill. If you guys have heard of that game, it was pretty popular, right? So the whole character designs, the whole world design and everything, it resembles a lot like Silent Hill, with little bit of horror, little bit of mystery going on. That combined with something like GTA. So they probably took inspiration from the game and they said, what if we make something like a mysterious, dark, a horror fantasy type of GTA? And that is what Hoyoverse has ended up with. It's also the first time Hoyoverse is making something like this. I mean, if you take a look at their previous games, what they have done is mostly made anime gacha games, right? Most of their games, not most, bro, all of their games have been anime games, so they definitely have a lot more anime aesthetics to them. But this one is, I think, the first Hoyoverse game where they are trying to make something that's more realistic, that's a little bit different from the anime logic. So the gameplay reveal actually starts with the main character looking for a job. I see what you did there, Hoyo. Reminding people to get a job the first thing in the game is kind of crazy. But yeah, it starts off with this MC looking for a job, and I have to say the MC design looks really nice. I'm really glad that the MC does not look like a kid. I'm kind of tired of seeing kids in MCs. So yeah, not an adult MC, definitely not a full grown-up MC, but definitely a teenager MC. Definitely good to see. It's not another 14-year-old or 12-year-old looking kid. Then they show you walking inside the building and uncovering lots of different mysteries and stuff. And honestly, the NPC designs in this game, they just look really clean. Every single NPC seems to be a little bit unique. Like it's not like your whole Hoyoverse game where every single NPC looks exactly the same, right? Each NPC seems to have some sort of a personality, different clothes, different appearance, the way they are walking and doing things. It definitely looks pretty interesting. Then as we move further into the gameplay, they slowly start revealing how the game is gonna be, like the combat, the enemies and all that stuff. And honestly, the enemies and their appearance is very dark fantasy type, very supernatural theme going on out here. This reminds me a lot of, which game? This reminds me a lot of Neverness to Everness. What even happened to that game, by the way? Is it even going to come out? Because there is literally no news about that one. But yeah, this has a very similar setting, in my opinion, to Neverness to Everness, where you have supernatural stuff going on inside the city, the monster designs and everything, the way they're just popping up in the overworld, and when they pop up, you have this small domain kind of thing, everything going blurry, everything becoming dark. It's very similar to how they did it in Neverness to Everness. I really like the concept though, so I'm not really complaining. And apparently this game is gonna have dialogue options. I mean, if you guys look look at this part of the trailer, here you can see a list of options: empathy, persuasion, deception, and something. I guess the last option is just agreeing with whatever the NPC is saying. So maybe you're gonna have a value system in this game where you can lie to NPCs or you can try to persuade them. It's kind of interesting having these sorts of dialogue options in a game. I really enjoy this sort of stuff. This kind of reminds me a little bit of, Baldur's Gate. That game had something like this. So yeah, it's good to see that we have something like this in this game. But how much will these choices impact your story? We don't really know about that yet. But definitely, it looks like there's gonna be a success-failure system. As you can see, when the character clicks on persuasion, they get a small success button out here. They get a small success message. So there are chances that whatever option you select can fail, and when that fails, we don't really know. Maybe they will add stuff like if you fail in a conversation with someone, you end up in a boss fight or something. I don't know. There are lots of possibilities with this. Like when you look at how Baldur's Gate did it, there is definitely many things they can do with this sort of system, and I'm glad they're doing something like this, to be honest. It's really fresh seeing actual dialogue options and them having effects in how you play the game, right? How the story turns out. Now the combat looks really flashy. That is something I have to say, okay? Pretty unique weapons. You can see the MC is fighting with a freaking umbrella. So that is a really nice touch. Now that does make me feel like every character is gonna have some sort of unique weapon, because honestly, I cannot see them, selling an umbrella as a limited character weapon. So I don't know, maybe every character is gonna come with their own weapons. Then you have the other character, Sayuki, I think that is what she's called, and she's using a book with like notes and everything. Really loving the design, how every single character seems to have a very unique sort of weapons out here. Not your usual, swords and hammers and guns and stuff. Very unique weapons. But yeah, one thing that I did notice about the combat though, the combat is flashy, but it's also pretty easy. I mean, I cannot see them using any sort of perfect dodges or parries or weakness breaks and all that stuff. So the combat does seem to be like a pretty simplified form of combat, very similar to, I guess, how they do it in Genshin. I don't know if they're gonna have elements, but definitely enemies seem to be getting debuffs, so maybe elemental debuffs will be a thing. But yeah, it looks like the combat is gonna be pretty simple so that everyone can get a hang of the combat, not too difficult, and it's gonna be more on the flashy side. Characters having really cool animations, really cool ultimates, that sort of stuff. So I know I can already see people out there in the comments who are combat junkies. They'll probably be like, bro, the combat looks boring and stuff. I can understand, bro. Not every game needs to be a Souls-like game, okay? Let the casual people chill as well. So this combat looks pretty casual to me. Now we really need to talk about the open world and the city theme and everything out there, the driving and all that stuff, okay? Because this looks freaking gorgeous, okay? Like, I can compare these graphics to a modern AAA game like maybe GTA 5 enhanced. Okay, it just looks that good, right? Graphics wise, I think the city, it looks better than ANANTA. Like, okay, this may be a wild take, I know, because ANANTA is more of an anime theme game. So I know there will be people out there who will be like, bro, but that is an art style choice. It's more on the unrealistic side. I agree, but I am digging on this sort of graphic style more. I don't know, like, I don't really hate anime aesthetics, but this just looks so good, man. I just have to say, this looks better than ANANTA when it comes to graphics. The driving also looks really nice. I mean, if you take a look at this car, they have a boost option in this, kind of like a nitro button in those racing games, and the car is going really fast. I like it when games have a sense of speed. If you guys have played Forza Horizon 5, you know that game has like really fast cars, but it does not feel fast because the sense of speed in that game is absolutely bullshit. If you look at NFS though, NFS cars, they have a really good sense of speed. Like, you can see the motion blur and all that stuff. So I'm really liking how they have added sense of speed in this game. The car feels like it's going really, really fast. But I have to say something, the city does look a little bit empty compared to ANANTA. Like, when you look at ANANTA, the variety of NPCs, the variety of cars and things that are going on in the city, I think that game has a lot more stuff. I mean, in this frame, you can see there are like 3 SUVs, but all of them look exactly the same, right? So this is something I think ANANTA did better, where the city has a lot more variety when it comes to NPCs or when it comes to cars. A lot of stuff is actually going on in the city at all times. This looks a little bit empty compared to that. Also, another thing to notice is they only show you driving this one car, this SEAL police vehicle in this trailer. So there is no confirmation on whether we will be able to drive any other vehicles in this game. Like ANANTA, they got the whole GTA thing, right? You can go and steal someone else's vehicle, or you can buy other vehicles. But they did not make it clear in this trailer, so obviously it may be that you can only drive this one vehicle that you get from the SEAL team. I mean, it's a pretty nice vehicle, it's pretty fast. I'm not complaining about that, but yeah, not being able to drive other vehicles would be a real shame in a setting like this. They also do not show any other city activities. Like in ANANTA, they show you going to the gym, they show you playing basketball and all that stuff. stuff. They show you going to parties and raving, but the 31 minutes of gameplay that we have got here is very strictly focused on the story. They do not show any city activities. So once again, there is no confirmation whether there is going to be any city-wide activities like you can do in Ananta. Maybe this will be a much more story-focused game. So maybe something like Mafia. If you guys have played Mafia, that one has a open world city, but not really a lot of city activities, right? Most of it is focused on the story. So this may be something like that. Maybe you don't have a lot of city-wide activities to do. Maybe it's a lot more focused on the story. So I guess that is where it is creating a divide between both of these games, where Ananta is trying to be the whole anime GTA, basically giving you GTA levels of freedom. You can go and beat up an NPC if you want. The police will come for you. You can do whatever stuff you want in that game. But maybe this game is going to be focusing more on the story aspects. The open world is going to be there for exploration, obviously. And as you can see, we entered into a region where there is a lot of enemies. So maybe we'll have these sorts of enemy camps out in the city, which we can clear. But maybe not as many city activities as we have in Ananta. So there's going to be a divide in between these games right here. And I think there's going to be a type of player base who appreciates the form of freedom that Ananta gives. There's going to be another type of player base who really does not care about stuff like that, who only want to get indulged in story, and this game is going to be better for them. Now, another thing which you guys may notice in this gameplay is there are actually 3 different characters, and while combat you can actually switch between all 3 characters. So this is very similar to Arknights Enfield, because Arknights Enfield is also going to be having 3 characters, I think. Was it 4? I think it was 3, right? So that game also has 3. So it's a very similar situation where if you switch between characters, you have a small QTE skill that goes out. It happens in Wuthering Waves as well. But yeah, 3 different characters. This does make me wonder if the game is going to have some sort of character gacha. I mean, this is Hoyoverse, right? Hoyoverse makes gacha games. So I won't be surprised if this game has a character gacha for you to unlock the characters. If they are doing it like Ananta, that would be really good. I mean, all the characters, you just get them through the story. But I have my doubts. Maybe we will be getting a character gacha in this game. As of now, the monetization system in this game is definitely not clear. They have not spoken about it anywhere, and they have definitely not shown it in this gameplay as well. So yeah, it may be a gacha game. It may be that all the characters are free. We don't have information about that yet. The combat, though, in this situation, as you can see, is pretty cool. You can go ahead and sneak up and assassinate on enemies. So they added a little bit of Assassin's Creed there as well. I appreciate that. Also, another interesting thing that caught my eye about this game is this Chinese promotion image for this game. Okay, so this promo stuff, they only just officially released in CN, so the English version is not out yet. But I went ahead and translated this, and this kind of gives you a lot of information on what sort of game this is going to be. So you can see Unreal Engine 5 realistic, fantasy pre-research project, and it's got online collaboration, large boss battle, smart NPC, AI terrain combat, AI Unreal Engine 5 high quality, multiple pairs, something like that. Okay, so in this post they do say that this is gonna be an MMO game, which is gonna have PvP, which is gonna have boss fights, which is gonna have intelligent NPC. So I think this is based on translating this. Obviously Google Translate did not do the best job and so it looks like a jumbled up pair of words, but from this it does make it clear that the game will probably have some sort of multiplayer content. They are mentioning stuff like large boss battles, basically maybe raid battles. Online collaboration, according to that post, is an MMO like setting where you can play with other people, and apparently there's also going to be PvP, and they're going to be using AI for NPCs and AI terrain combat, whatever that means. But yeah, I can already see a lot of people are going to be crying about the use of AI in the game. I mean, we have to see what sort of AI they use, right? Is the AI going to be something like Where Winds Meet, where the NPCs are smart so you can like go ahead, talk to them, hold full conversations with them? Or maybe it's going to be in a way that the enemies are going to react according to what you are doing. I don't know, bro. If I look at this game, alright, if I look at this gameplay, the enemies look kind of dumb, so I don't know. I'm not really banking on that. Yeah, AI terrain combat maybe is gonna be something like destructible environments and stuff, so the environment is gonna react to how you are fighting. And how are they going to be using AI otherwise in the game? Are they going to be using AI to develop the game, or to voice act the characters, or maybe design assets? We don't have any idea of that sort, but if they're doing that, I can totally see a lot of people are going to be crying about it, because the AI backlash right now against studios that are using AI is huge, right? So they definitely don't want to mess this up, because if it is misinterpreted by people, then this can be a really negative PR for the game. Now, the MMO aspects of this game also gives it kind of an advantage over Ananta, to be honest, because if you guys know, Ananta is not going to be having any sort of MMO aspects. The devs have made it clear that it's going to be a very much story focused focused like a single player type of game. There's going to be some casual co-op stuff that you can invite people into your world and you can do some casual stuff together, but definitely not in something in the scale of an MMO, right? Definitely there's not going to be co-op raid battles. Definitely there's not going to be PvP with other players. So this is something that I think this game, Varsapura, has an advantage over Ananta, where they are giving a lot of MMO aspects in this game. It's like, they said, Hoyo just said, what are the players asking for years in Genshin? You know what? Let's take all of that stuff and put it in this game and never give all of that to Genshin players. That is what Hoyo has done here. Okay, so this part I think is much more similar to Where Winds Meet, where Where Winds Meet also has player versus player, a whole co-op boss battle system and all that stuff, right? And MMO mode. So maybe it's gonna be similar to Where Winds Meet in this aspect than Ananta. But yeah, this also creates like two different types of player bases. One who enjoys, the whole offline aspect, exploring the world alone, playing the story. Basically, GTA fans, they're gonna be appreciating Ananta more. But people who appreciate endgame content more, so they have built their characters, bro. They want some endgame content to flex their damage, maybe to flex their characters. This game is gonna be providing those players something to play. This also raises my doubts about the monetization of the game, because honestly, if you are having PvP with other players, if you're having something like an MMO mode, you cannot really go right with Gacha, because we have seen what happened to Tower of Fantasy, right? Gacha and PvP, online multiplayer, MMO, all of this stuff does not go well together. So you can either have an MMO game with like paid cosmetics, strictly paid cosmetics, nothing that gives you advantage in the game, so it's a completely free to play friendly game, or you go the Gacha route and you do not put any sort of PvP or any sort of MMO content. That is the only option. If you try to put all of them together, it's only a recipe for disaster. So this is something we have to see, like what sort of monetization Hoyo comes up in this game. I am genuinely concerned. I hope it's not a Gacha game again, because I'm personally tired of Gacha games. Let's be real. I want more better MMOs, and because I am an old school MMO player, I love the fact that we are getting so many good MMOs. We just got Where Winds Meet, not exactly MMO, but MMO type games, if you guys understand, right? So Where Winds Meet, a really good MMO type game. This one they are saying is going to be an MMO, so let's see how this is. But I'm really loving the attention MMOs are suddenly getting, because they were like straight up dead a few years back, right? So no multiplayer content has been shown in this trailer, unfortunately, so all we can do is just cope, right? We can only think of how good the multiplayer combat is gonna be, or what even the multiplayer content is gonna be. Let's hope that they reveal more information about all of this stuff later on. And also guys, Unreal Engine 5 high quality, MiHoYo Unreal Engine 5 realistic. This is an Unreal Engine 5 game. Get ready. If you are playing this on your phone, it's probably going to turn into a microwave. Okay, if you are playing this on your PC, you'll probably need a 4090, because look at these graphics, guys. These graphics just look absolutely insane. I cannot think that this is going to be running on a low-end phone or on a low-end system. It's just not possible, right? So definitely I feel like, because this is Unreal Engine and because this game looks so clean, you will probably need a very high-end device to even run this game, right? Unreal Engine 5 is just not possible to optimize. Let's be real. It's a piece of shit engine, and ever since it has dropped, optimization has just been thrown out of the window. So let's not expect much when it comes to optimization. This game is gonna be running like shit when it comes to mobile. Okay, let's just accept the reality. So if you guys are excited about this, I guess it is a good time to go and get yourself a new phone. But yeah, that is also another something that we don't have any information about. Is this game even coming out on phone, or if it's just gonna be PC and console exclusive? Because let's be real, the game just looks way too good, right? So what are your thoughts about this game? Are you guys excited about this? Honestly, this feels like Where Winds Meet, but in a city setting, right? After I saw that this is gonna be an MMO style game, it's gonna have PvP and all that stuff, this game feels much more similar to Where Winds Meet than Ananta, to be honest. Ananta is more of an offline focused game at this point, let's be real, right? So this is gonna be more of a cooperative online MMO sort of game, just set in a city, and yeah, that makes it a little bit similar to GTA. But the gameplay will probably be a lot more similar to how it is in Where Winds Meet. So what are your thoughts about this game? Are you guys excited about this? Do you guys think that we are getting way too many GTA clones? Because I am a little bit concerned. A few years back, we were getting way too many open world anime games. Suddenly, we are getting way too many city-based games like GTA. I don't know where all of this is headed, to be honest. I'm a little bit confused. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.